Hey, I just got a notification that you're live.
I am live in an all living color.
Hi.
I'm hoping to God that
Now you're live. I see the button. I see the notification of liveness.
oh, and I can see you in the screen. So that means, boys, I didn't screw it up this time. One more for the good guys.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Oh, look, see, there's Boss and Kachum. There we go. Now we got to keep her happy. As long as we keep her happy, they stay. The moment she's not entertained, they will jump ship and go to another stream as quick as you can make her head spin. I'm telling you, I see them all the time. They're always jumping from stream to stream. No loyalty.
It's like a social butterfly. Social network butterfly.
Well, as the well, thanks everybody for joining. Like the other two that's going to join. But one of the reasons why we're doing this because we have the double secret new member, the legend, the amazing Sasquatch. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, man? How's it going? I'm doing great.
With the sword of destiny.
You've been indoctrinated into the symbiotes. that must make a swelling of happiness ooze.
It was definitely one of the proudest moments of my Instagram career.
Now, when you joined us and you started going to the chat and see that it is all types of depraved, I can't even say depravity in the chats and the jokes and everything, did you think, wow, these are some upstanding individuals?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, this is the cream of the crop right here. And, I'm so happy to be a part of this amazing group of upstanding citizens.
Now, I see that poster behind you. Is that the poster or the print or whatever you want to call it?
This one over here? Yeah, man, that's the one I picked up just over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, from the signing that you went to.
Yeah, well, so it was an art show. So there's this so Mondo, they do like limited edition posters for all types of like pop culture stuff. And they happen to be in Austin, which is about an hour north of San Antonio. And I've never been. I've never had a reason to go. And they've been announcing that they're going to release, or that Eric Powell's doing like this nationwide tour for the 25th anniversary of the Goon, and releasing like a limited edition screen printed poster. So I talked to Colleen and I was like, you know what? We're not doing anything on Saturday. You want to take a road trip? And we did. It was awesome.
Heck yeah.
That's real awesome. And it's awesome lady you have there. I think the last time, if I say I want a road trip, I think it was Thomas the Train is the last road trip, and that was this weekend. So while you were getting Goon posters, I was riding in Thomas.
Hey, that's pretty cool in and of itself, man.
Film it and post it, so we don't have I don't know if I totally believe that. You might have been doing something else.
Oh, no, I posted onto the thing. I got all the videos because he talks and everything. So it's kind of creepy, but my son loved it. I thought it was kind of. He's like, hey, buffer my whatever he says, and I was like, oh wow, he talks and looks around and everything.
Percy was there. My kids, they were all into Thomas the Train when they were real young, but not so much anymore.
Yeah, my son is 7, and he just kept saying, well, I guess it's pretty neat for him. I don't like Thomas anymore, but I guess it's pretty neat for him. And I was like, dude, you don't have to try so hard. You're smiling. You like it. You love it.
Right, trying to be too cool, like that.
All right, so I am a noob, and I read this. I thought it was really awesome, although because I haven't written comics that long, I was a little confused on some parts. But I actually really enjoyed this. I was surprised because every time there's some kind of event, I'm always like, it's okay. Like I really went hard on, what was that last one? The Affinity Wars or something?
Yeah, and then Warps.
I spent a fortune on that, and I read through it, and I was like, oh, it's pretty okay, I guess. And then I was like, dude, I'll never do that again. That's one mistake in collecting that I have made. It's trying to get all the little side stories and everything. That's very expensive.
So is War of the Realms like what? That's the whole story of like Conan coming into the modern times, or what?
War of the Realms is more. I think it's kind of more based on the Thor that's been going on for a while, where I think it's literally they're going from like realm to realm to realm, and good guys versus bad guys. Kind of, they got like a team of bad guys and a team of good guys, kind of thing.
Does it follow the worlds of like Asgard and those and that whole kind of, I don't know what you would call it, realm, I guess, but is that what it's following? Like, I don't really know. I hadn't got to read it yet.
Oh, yeah, like I said, like I don't know that much. I just know that they're basically the first one was they were trying to take out some of the heavy players, and there's always Loki and Thor and all them. So they were, the first scene is them. It's a pretty cool scene where Thor's daddy is sitting on his throne and Asgard is in ruins and he refuses to leave. And then the assassins from the Dark Elves show up and they, know what happens, but they're rushing him to try to take him out. So they're just kind of going by one and taking out all the big boys. And then the assassins from the Dark Elves show up and they, know what happens. Oh, some echoes.
Huh.
And then so none of the rest of you guys read this one?
No.
I haven't. I bought number one. I'm not gonna buy any of the tie-ins or anything. I got sucked into that for the first Civil War. I bought every single tie-in.
Dude, there's so many.
I literally have a long box that's nothing but Civil War stuff. There's so much that went into
so
it.
much.
And I got all the variants of every book. I got every part of it. And I don't even want to think about how much money I spent on it because it's got to be over $1,000 easy. I mean, easy. Maybe even more. I mean, those sketch covers, the Michael Turner sketch covers, when they came out, were like $100 each.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't buy them when they first came out.
I was about to say, and you dropped the dollars on those? Wow, nice.
I probably waited about 6 or 8 months before they started coming down. And then I started picking them up off of eBay for like between $20 and $50. I got them cheaper, but man, they were expensive when they first came out.
Is it at least a good story? Like, is it awesome if you read it all?
No, I really liked it. And if you read all the tie-ins as it comes in, like, I thought it was really good. The Punisher ones, where the Punisher's involved in it, those are my favorite parts of it. Like, that dude is just freaking nuts.
Okay, so when they have these like universe-altering events, like I said, as a noob, do they actually change like forever the comic book world, or is it kind of just goes back to normal afterwards?
Very rarely does it change things.
Yeah, they kind of messed with it in the Civil War stuff because at the end of it, they had the Civil War and then they had the initiative, like where everybody had to register and all that stuff. And then they had the whole thing in Spider-Man with Brand New Day where they restarted everything. So they kind of just flipped the switch. I don't know exactly how it affected everything, but I know it changed a lot of stuff.
The people in the comments are commenting about how amazingly bright your basement is today.
Mine?
Yeah, they said it's amazing lighting you got going on.
Is it too bright?
I don't know.
I don't know. My brightness?
Yes, your future's so bright and all that.
Yeah.
So Sasquatch, what's your top 3 favorite reads going right now that you would suggest other people read?
Oh man, I'm trying to I'm discovering all kinds of stuff that came out like slightly before I started collecting again. Because I read a lot of indie titles, so like I'm really big into Space Riders right now.
Fuck yeah, that shit's good.
Yeah, there's a Black Math book, and I just happened, I don't know how I found that title, but like I can find them. What's really cool is like I know that when it came out, like people were really into it, and it was an expensive book, and now that people don't know or don't remember it anymore, I can pick them up for pretty cheap, which is awesome. So that's definitely number one on my list right now. I was reading, let's see. Oh, just also catching up on reading of the Goon, because I got the 25th anniversary special, or the 25th, or the new number one that just recently came out, and kind of like resparked my interest. So I went out and got all those trade paperbacks, and I'm in the midst of reading that. And Why the Last Man? I got all the trade paperbacks for that from Half Price Books.
What's that one about?
That one's that's written by Brian K. Vaughan, who is the same. He's the same writer for Saga, and he wrote this like a long time ago, man. Back in the early 2000s, I want to say, and it's a book about this so basically one day everybody wakes up and all the men or all the males of the species have just like died for no reason, or at least at this point I haven't figured out, or we haven't found out why they died. So every man on the planet has died. Every male animal has died except for this one. His name's Uric, and the whole story follows him and how the world's changing now that it's run by females, and trying to figure out why he's the only male that hasn't been killed off. So it's pretty cool.
So he's going around getting all the booty.
That's the thing, man, is that us being the Neanderthals that we are would assume that right away, but it goes a lot deeper than that. Like it's not nearly as much fun as it seems like it would be.
That wouldn't work anyway, really, if you think about it. You'd have a bunch of crossbred. Like, everybody would be from the same bloodline from that point forward. So it would only be like one generation gets to live.
Yeah,
that sounds actually really cool, though.
It's super cool, man, because it's I think especially now it's kind of relevant with all this talks about just like gender and identity and all that stuff. But it's like a different take on it. Like it's taken some really unexpected twist that I wasn't expecting, and I think it's pretty cool. And for a while, the reason I picked it up was because they were planning on making it into a TV show, and I just kind of wanted to read it before I watched it on TV. And I think just today they announced that the TV show got canceled, so it's not being made anymore.
Well, that's good, because that means if it's really good and I want to read it, I can actually probably afford it, because
yeah,
people will start letting them go.
I mean, the individual issues are still pretty expensive because it was a pretty sought-after book, but the trade paperbacks are cheap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I know they reprinted #1. I used to have that. I forget what they call it. It's kind of like the True Believers, but they did a reprint like that for that one. I used to have it. I think I sent it to Peter. Yeah,
probably. What are you talking about? What title?
By the Last Man. The reprint.
No, not that. I didn't get a Why Last Man because I've still never read that, and I'd like to.
I knew it was in that lot that I was going to sell all the #1s out of.
Yeah, there was like two other. They're image first.
Image first. There you go.
Hey Peter, there's some questions in the chat wondering where's your brick and mortar store located at?
Don't have one. Just my basement.
I know everyone's like, that looks like it's a comic book store behind them.
Oh, it's not. It's not a comic book store.
No, it could very well be. You could easily have enough. I probably have as much as two smaller shops.
Are those all like the actual comics behind you, or am I looking at like wallpaper or what?
Oh no, those are the actual comics. A couple on the very top row. I think it's where I can see. A few on the top are
AF-15 and a Hulk 1, and those are all real.
A few of them are reprints. Like on the top row, I'll try to flip it around.
Oh, I was gonna say.
But like, trying to flip. There we go. Okay. So my finger, like reprint, but I have one. I'm just not putting it on the wall to get damaged.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going.
Like these two are facsimile reprint covers. So it has like the inside and out cover, but I don't have the inside. These are all real. Well, that's a reprint because it's German. Two of them are like German reprints. My Hulk and Iron Man are German. This is just a reprint. This is Spidey Marvel Official Index #1. It's the back cover.
Yeah.
Thor's legit. X-Men's Italian. It's D-X-Men. D-X-Men. It's pretty cool. Like, that's real. That's a reprint. But then, like, everything else up here is legit first printing, original, yada, yada, yada.
That's cool, man.
The Hulk is fake. Hulk's German. It's not, I mean, they're not fake. They're just reprints, different, like, foreign versions.
Gotcha.
Couple more over here. Yeah. So, anyway. Bam, bam.
So, Sasquatch, you like an indie stuff. Have you ever read this Riptide series? Did you read that when it was coming out?
Yeah, I actually was able to get all 4 issues for cover price when they were, because it was like super limited.
Yeah.
And, yeah, people were going crazy over it, man. And I was able to buy them online for cover, and it was all right. I mean, it definitely. Did you guys read it?
No.
I haven't read
No,
it yet.
I never got the first one.
I went to a little convention that they have up in Atlanta, and I got number 1 and number 3. I hadn't got a chance to read number 1 yet, but I heard that the whole series was good, and I didn't really want to spend a bunch of money trying to get 2 and 4.
It wasn't, to me, like it wasn't as good. Like it wasn't good enough to warrant that type of reaction from people because they were paying a lot of money for those books for a while.
I know.
I mean, it was definitely, it definitely read like a 90s action movie, like Speed or Twister or something like that, like a natural disaster movie. Definitely read like that. So I think that's why a lot of people spec'd on it, because they thought it was going to be, option. But I haven't heard any news about that.
No, I hadn't either. I just heard when it was coming out, it was like on the radar, but none of the shops around here carried it. Like none of them get Red 5 stuff. And so I went to the website trying to find it, and by the time I'd gotten around to doing it, number 1 was sold out. And I think they even did a second print of number 1 that sold out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think they kind of played up to the idea that people were expecting it to be option, because the second printings came out and they were like movie posters. So then people really went crazy buying the second prints because they thought that was hinting at something, which nothing ever came of it. So
yeah, but I didn't even bother trying to get number 2 because number 1 was sold out in both printings. So I just kind of gave up. It's kind of like Rags. I just gave up on ever being able to read it until I was able to like find it somewhere like online or something. And
well, now they're
in a box for $2. I got 2 and 3 for $2 each. And
yeah, now they're super cheap. You can pick them up for really cheap now.
Yeah.
Which might not be a bad idea because like I said, it's like even the way that they drew it out, it's like it reads like a storyboard. So it's ready. It's like it was like packaged for the movies, so it's ready to be picked up. It's just somebody's got to take the bait.
Yeah, because I like the all the independent stuff. The problem was because I have to order all my stuff online, so I would get a few of them. Like there's the one, oh man, what is it? It's like the guy's growing body parts.
Oh, Farmhand.
Farmhand. I really like that one. And then I would get it like 2 or 3 times, and then I would like if I forgot about it or something, because I had to order online, I wouldn't remember to go back and get it. And there's that one that I really liked. I thought it was a cool concept, but I don't know if it's any good. It's like the lady dies, and then she goes to another realm where she's like sees her dad, and she's gonna fight. I forgot the name of that. It's not like Respawn or something, but it's something like that, like Reborn or something. Did you guys ever read that one?
That doesn't sound. I don't.
I don't know the name of it.
Well, there is Reborn. I mean, that's.
There is a comic called Reborn. That was one of those.
Just come out.
Wasn't it?
It's what?
I think it was one of those that was on the Hot 10 list not too long ago. Where
because it's supposed to be Sandra Bullock. It's supposed to be. It's like a. Netflix.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Because see, I read the first one, that one. I actually thought it was a cool concept.
Yeah,
I never remember to go back and get it.
It looked good.
Yeah, if you're interested in Farmhand, I can get you all those from the shop. They have them all. We bought a bunch of the copies of every one. They're still on the shelf.
Yeah, I probably made it to like 4 or 5, and it was really cool. And then somebody told me Farmhand was. I think I was actually at a random LCS, and they said, "Oh, Farmhand's terrible. You need to watch or you need to read. I don't know, like Eat or it was long Chew. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, that's just a wannabe Chew. Chew's way better." So then I was like, "Okay, well, I'll try to find Chew," and I it's popular.
You're gonna have to pay some money. I was able to find like a couple single digits, and they weren't in dollar bands.
Yeah, no.
It seems see my only Chew comic. I got this from Barbarian.
Yeah,
my only Chew book.
No call.
Yeah, I like it actually. It's cool.
Oh, I don't know if Tank's still in here, Sasquatch, but he was asking what camera you use. I guess he's digging on your camera.
Does it look good? I don't know. It always looks blurry from this side. So it's a Logitech, like a Logitech C200 series. I just Googled like what's the best webcam for YouTube.
Yeah, I think I had the exact same one, and then I asked Kachung what they use, and that's what they said they used too. And I was like, well, everybody says they use that one, so I that's the one I got too.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, and sometimes like I think the picture doesn't. I mean, everybody like when other people use the camera, it seems like the picture looks really good, and then on my end, I don't think it looks that good. So, but I think it has.
Yeah, I don't think mine looks that great. I didn't think it was that much better than this. I use a really old laptop, and I was, is it that much better than that? I was like, maybe I don't know how to use the settings or something. So one of these days I'll play with it. But and speaking of other comics, let's see. There's another one I was going to ask you guys about. Has anybody read? What do they do with this?
You know that
right here.
Hold it before.
Has anybody read? Well, go ahead. What?
I was going to say before you go to that one, Farmhand. I follow Rob Guillory on Facebook, and a while back he was posting that he had like this like secret news that he was going to share with everybody about Farmhand, and so a lot of people were thinking that maybe it's going to be like movie optioning or something like that. So,
oh, don't say that because I haven't caught back up with all the books.
just saying, if you're thinking about picking it up, now's might be a good time before it gets crazy.
Yeah, for real.
Probably
yeah,
should.
that's one of the series that I picked up #1, and I was like, okay, I know I don't have time to read this with everything else, and so I got #1, and I knew I would be able to find the rest of them later on unless it just exploded. So I still only have #1, but I know where all the rest of them are. They're still sitting there.
Yeah, I'll have to see what number I went to. Then I might ask you to hook it up because I'll have to just buy them all online, obviously, because I don't have a store I can go to. But I thought it was a cool concept. I don't know. Like, I don't know what if Chew is so much better, but I thought it was kind of neat. I was wondering where it was going to go.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that, not being able to go to a comic book store, just like, okay, they're open today. I'm going to go to the comic book store.
I have 2 comic book stores, but they're both Magic the Gathering stores, and they have, like, I don't know, maybe an 8-foot long wall, and whatever's there is there. And I don't know what they do with them. I don't know what they do with all the old ones. I don't know if they sell them on eBay or they have if it's like a satellite store. But yeah. And then the one after that, I think the nearest one's down in Plano, and that's like probably a 45-minute drive without traffic. So it's a little ways to go.
Yeah, but you can't go in there and talk comics at the one close to you, can you?
Oh, absolutely. I could talk Magic all day long if I wanted to.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I go to the comic shops, and some days I go there, I don't even buy anything. I just go in there to hang out with the dude that owns the place and shoot the shit and look.
Yeah, the one that's, I mean, the guy's nice enough. The one that's the closest to me, he's a nice enough guy and all that. But I think he's like, like we were talking about it earlier, and I know I saw John in the comics. I don't know if he's still in here, John, Comics with Kids. We were talking about it in the chat about Dungeons and Dragons and D&D. And he is like way into that. Like he has tables in the back. And so every time I've tried to talk to him, he's clearly knowledgeable. He's been working at a comic book shop for a long time. Yeah. But almost every time I talk to him about it, if it's even somewhere new, he's like, that's dumb. It's like $6 for that. That's stupid. Don't, why? I don't know why anybody buys comics. I'm like, dude, you're kind of in a comic book store, man. Like,
is Magic the Gathering like really all that lucrative?
It must be more lucrative than comic books, I assume.
There's at least, well, I know of one shop here that only survives because they sell cards, and he's a comic shop. Like you go in there and there's not, well, he used to have a used bookstore, like paperbacks and comic books, and then when he started losing money, he started selling like Pokemons and Yu-Gi-Ohs and stuff like that, and little kids came in and started buying that shit, and so he started doing the tournaments and stuff. And so they would end up, 2 days out of the week, he's got all the back issues covered up with boards, and there's kids playing freaking Yu-Gi-Oh on the comic book boxes, and you can't buy anything. So he rented the whole store next door to him and just set up tables in there, and now people go in there every day and play cards. And so at least 60% of his money is selling cards.
I wonder if it's one of those situations like, at the movies, like the movie can be like somewhat affordable, but then you go and like they don't make their money off of ticket sales, they make money off of the snacks. So these like Magic shops are really making money off of selling like Mountain Dew and Cheetos to all these guys that are playing Magic, and it's just like a scam to get them through the doors.
Yeah, that's kind of how he is too. Like he sells all kinds of snacks and drinks, and there's a mechanic shop that's like a door or two down from him that does like custom work on Jeeps and shit, and they come in there all the time just because he's like the closest place they can buy Cokes, and so he makes money selling drinks to these guys, and it's kind of funny. But yeah, he's got hundreds of thousands of comic books in there, but he makes most of his money selling Yu-Gi-Ohs, and Magic the Gathering has taken off in the last like maybe 6, 7 years, it's gotten way bigger because it was big back in the 90s, like when I was in high school, and then it kind of went away, and now it's like taken back off again. And it's all older people like our age that are too into it. Yes, they get way too excited when they're playing, flipping tables and stuff when they lose.
Yeah, when I go to the other one that's a little bit farther for me, I have a hard time in getting somebody to check me out because there's so many. I mean, they're like 30, 40 and older. There's so many people around the little display case to buy the expensive Magic the Gathering cards. So I guess it's better than comic books, money wise, anyway.
You gotta have money to buy a Black Lotus, man.
Yeah, right. That's what I was telling him the other day when he was like couldn't get their attention. I was like, man, just tell me you get a Black Lotus for sale. They'll jump right on you. Man, I got my other one at home, but I'll sell you this one. They'll come right over to you.
Yeah, I was telling them I was at this. I decided to try it, and then the other direction I went towards like Denton. I mean, you would know it's Sasquatch, but I went the other direction, and I went to that place, and they have their books, like the ones that's supposed to be worth money, and I'm staring at it, and I keep giving the guy the look like, hey, come over and give me a hand. And he flatly refused. And I was like, hey, can I get some help? He goes, oh, give me a second. And he kept talking to the two people who were there picking out dice. I'm like, I don't know how much dice are, but I'm trying to buy like a wall book over here. You don't want to come over and help me? Like, I was like, whatever. That's what he said. So when I told him, he was like, tell them next time you got a Black Lotus and they'll break their neck to get over there. So the other book I was going to ask you guys about is this one, which I bought. I have not read it, and now I kind of don't want to read it because some people say it's actually pretty good, and the prices are ludicrous. So have you guys read this? I can read online, I guess, but have you guys, anybody read this?
I have not.
Yes. Yeah, I read the first 2 issues. First one's really good. Like it kind of hooks you. You get hooked. It's a little mystery. It's pretty. I don't know. It's good. Who the fuck is it?
Peter Parker is like a superstar. This guy reads everything. Every time I ask, you guys are like, nope. And he's like, yep, I read that.
Yep, I read it. I got that shit.
You got a comic book store. He's sitting in there right now, you know?
Yeah.
I've got all the issues. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, you're sitting on a gold mine right now.
Oh, man, I got like 4 or 5 of each.
Okay, now you're just bragging.
Well, he's at a comic book store. Of course he's got 4 or 5 of each.
All right, let's go through these.
I got an exclusive. I got a con exclusive. I got a variant.
We got a second printing, number 1. We got number 3. Number 2.
But
number 1. Second printing, number 1. Number 1. Second printing, number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 3. Number 3. Number 3. And I have 2 more number 1s that are in my like personal collection to keep, and I have the B cover for number 1. So
I've got this one.
I stocked up. Yeah, I got
this one. Hold on. I've got this one. I've got this one.
Yeah.
I've got this one.
There you go.
I've got this one. And this one.
You're just showing the same book over and over again.
Hey, he had me fooled for a second.
Man. So what happened was nobody was buying these books for a long time. Like at my LCS, they couldn't even give them away. And so I don't know, like my wife really liked it and she asked me if I would pick one up for her. And so I did. And then I just happened to read an article like, so the Oscars had just come out around that time. And they interviewed Bendis about, his writing for, or they interviewed him about Into the Spider-Verse because he of course is the creator of Miles Morales. And then they started asking him about what he was doing at DC, and he just happened to mention that Naomi was going to be like this huge book that something big was going to happen. And this was way before anybody knew anything about it. So I went to my LCS. There's a huge stack there, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance and see what happens. And so I cleared their shelf off, and they were like, usually if I take that many books to the counter, the guy at the counter won't let me buy them, but he was actually happy to get rid of them because they couldn't sell them.
Yeah.
And, literally like 2 days later, that's when everything blew up. And so I'm just sitting on this stack of these books.
Hell yeah.
So if you bring up, does he assume that he doesn't know something, so he holds them back and doesn't let you buy them? That seems kind of weird.
No, well, yeah. So there's, especially with like spec books. So there's like a book that's really hot on online or something. They'll allow you to buy one, but they won't allow you to buy like multiple copies because they want to save copies for other people just in case they want them.
That's how all
Okay. No,
my
that's cool. I thought they were like oh well, he's buying this, he must know something, so they were snatching them for themselves.
No,
That's cool.
they don't.
Oh, that's real cool then.
At least at this one, they don't raise the prices or anything, but they usually won't let you just take a whole stack of stuff. But for this one, like I said, they had no idea, and actually I didn't either. I just kind of took a chance on it, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, that's how all my LCSs are, and they'll limit you to 2 to 3 of any one thing. Yeah, it sucks.
And that's actually the only book that I've ever done that with. I don't usually buy multiple copies of any books, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I was feeling kind of early that day.
Yeah. Even just for me though, like not even for reselling or speculation, I like to have at least 2 copies of something I like for myself. Sometimes 3. If I plan on putting it on a wall or I want to build a set, I want 3 or 4 copies because I want one to read, one to sit on, and then one you get it. So I mean, I think they just get the wrong idea, and they think anytime you're buying multiples of something, you're getting it to flip it or whatever. And I understand. I wouldn't want to sell my whole. If you have regular customers you want to satisfy, but that's the same reason they should have a pull list. So I don't know.
And if you're talking about ones that just came out this week, then I can understand that limiting it to one. But if
it's been out,
that came out like 2 or 3 months ago, and they just happen to have 6 on their back issue wall, and I go up there and want to buy all of them, and they're like, "Wait a second, no, you can only get one." And that's I'm like, this just been sitting up there all this time. You're going to tell me I can only get one?
Yeah. I mean,
the only one that wants it. Sell it to me.
I mean, so like what I had read that article like that one day, and I'd been to my LCS. I noticed they had a big stack of them because they in the store they kind of made a big deal about it, but nobody cared about it. And so even then, like I didn't pick it up. I thought, no, I'm not going to be the guy that takes all these things. Mm-hmm. But then I gave it a couple weeks too, thinking that other people, because I had my one copy that I bought for my wife, and I think maybe I had an extra copy because I wanted to read it, and I left them there thinking like I'm going to share the wealth with everybody else, and then didn't happen. So I just went back and I was like, nobody else is going to buy these. I'll pick them up.
Yeah, I did that same thing with that Daredevil 610, I think it was, where it had that first appearance, and it wasn't anything, and then all of a sudden it was worth something. So I went in and I would buy them. There was a shop that had like 4 of them on the wall, and so I'll tell you what, I'm going to buy 2 of them, and I'm going to pay for them, and then I'm going to tell you why I'm buying these 2. And I told them the next day they had them in there for $14 on their wall.
Yeah, I still need one of those. I could only get a second printing.
Oh, really? I got one I can send to you. I don't care about it.
Yeah, I'd buy it off you. I don't really care. But
I sent one to somebody else, too, because I think I bought 3 of them. I sold one of them, and so that paid for all the other ones, so I don't have anything to do it. You know what I'm saying?
That was my goal for Naomi. I wanted to sell one number 1 that paid for buying all these other ones, and if I can get 10, 15, whatever, I'm not going to overcharge. But I think I'm just going to sit on them and wait. Keep waiting.
Yeah, I don't have any other books from that whole series, so it's the only reason I bought it is because I heard, hey, there's a first appearance in here. So that first day I bought one, and then like 2 weeks later it was on the list, and I was like, well, shit, if I can find it, then I'll get some more. And one shop that I go to all the time, where my buddy runs it, I didn't even buy his. I just pulled them all off the wall because he had like 4 of them on his wall.
Oh, yeah.
And I came to him, I'm like, dude, these are going for like $15
on eBay here. Yeah.
And that's why he always gives me a good deal, because I'll go through his bins and I'll find stuff that's worth money. If I don't want it, I take it up to him. And I'm like, dude, you need to sell this.
Is that the guy that you're trying to get him to sell stuff?
Yes, the guy that's struggling, and I'm trying to get him to make some money.
Like I'm trying to do all I can to keep you from having to shut this place down. Please sell a few of these books.
Yeah.
I was telling you, like, I don't know, like I don't usually necessarily buy anything to sell. I guess I probably should, but if I really like something, I buy 2, and I don't really have a good reason for it other than I have buy one to sell and then one to keep pristine, but I don't ever plan on selling it. So it does seem weird to buy two.
That's what I do. It's like I want one that's going to be minty forever for me that I probably don't even plan to sell. I just want a mint one, and then I want to read one.
Yeah, but what do you
Then I
think
want an
about
extra copy for like display or to sell. So
yeah, and I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I have no idea why I do that. It's kind of it's the weird sickness, I guess.
How are you guys reading your books, man? You reading them by like throwing them
how
up?
hard do you read?
I don't know. I used to think I did really good with reading my books, and I pulled out the ASM 700. It was like I pulled it out the other day when I was doing my random poll things, and when I pulled it up, I just stopped filming and I looked at it, and there's fingerprints on both sides from holding it, like where the red ink came off on my fingers. And I looked at that and I was like, oh man, like I gotta find another copy of that now to put in there. I can't have that.
Was it hot that day and you were sweating your balls off?
Right.
I think it's just because I've read it when it came out. That ink. I have a Sienkiewicz. Actually, it's right here. I have a Sienkiewicz cover. That's a second print. Let me find it. Hang on.
Hey, Justin Rican, what's happening, man?
Where'd it go?
I don't care for how do you even say it? Sienkiewicz's art. I don't like that. No, not my thing.
I'm not even a good enough comic book fan to even know the difference between half the art sometimes. Like I know the Thor run before War Realms. I like Thor. I know that guy's art was a little bit hard to get used to, but I don't know who it was. Like I was thinking that's kind of weird looking art. But I mean I got used to it. But I'm such a noob, I don't even know who's I mean I know this guy obviously, but
oh yeah, sure.
But because it looks like, I mean it's cool, but it looks like something, my kid did that it's really good at art. But other than that, I mean I have a hard time figuring out who's what artist.
Yeah.
I don't know, what is he looking for? So
Spidey 700.
Sasquatch, you basically just read, like your favorite is The Independents, is that what it is?
I mean I read a lot of different stuff, and like, man, even over the last few months, like my taste has just changed so much. Because I started getting into a lot of the Marvel stuff, even started reading some DC books, but I keep going back to the indie stuff. I just I like the superhero stuff, and I think a lot of times like I get caught up in like the hype of the movies, not for spec purposes, but because I like watching the movies. It's a lot of fun, and so then I think that usually equates to like having fun reading the books, but I'm just not as into the like reading the stories as I am to watching them on screen, I guess.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I say it in a video a few times too, that the issue that I guess I have sometimes with it is it seems like it's going to be really cool. Like DC is really bad about this. Like I like DC, some of the stuff, like I like Batman, some of his ilk, but it always bothers me that they'll be surrounded by somebody and it's supposed to be like Red Hood or somebody who's supposed to be a badass. And he's got surrounded by and he's about to take them all out, and then he'll drop the gun or the sword and he picks up a crowbar and they all go night-night, and then he walks away, and I'm like, nobody died? Like not one person died after all these years? Nobody dies. It just he knocks them out. And if he does kill like one person, all holy hell breaks loose or something. Batman's chasing him across the world, and I'm like, man, one of these days I just want somebody to freak out and to start taking people out one by one. Like I don't know. I knew better when I saw Batman. Like I was saying before, the Batman Who Laughs brought me back into comics. I thought that was a really cool character. Now I didn't know anything about comics. I hadn't read any comics since the 90s. But the moment I started reading, waiting for it to come out, I was like, there's no way that they're going to do anything that's going to be super cool. Like, there's just no way. Because, I mean, I don't know. It's just, they're not going to go rated R with the situation. So it's like, it's going to be okay, but then it's going to be kind of like, nah.
I really don't care for Batman Who Laughs or any of this DC metal or whatever.
Did you like the Batman Damned?
It was cool. It was interesting.
I thought it was really cool, actually. I like the art.
It's good story. I mean, I like it had Zatanna and what's his name, Constantine in it. It was cool. The art's great. It's like Drew. I don't know how to say his name.
I mean, I don't know. I think if you're gonna have a comic book that says
Drew Mayo,
like it's for adults and it's black, maybe they didn't get enough job explaining that it's for adults. I don't know if the Batwing in the grand scheme of things was like should have been the most outrageous thing ever, and like
That's the
shut down
main
the whole
focus on it,
system.
but it's actually a really good story, and the art's really fucking good. It's just like everyone wants to talk about Bat Dick, but it's good.
I thought it was okay. I thought it had too many words.
Too many words. Yeah.
There's a lot of words. I like words.
I'm
Like,
still waiting for the other DC Black Label things, like that Superman Year One or whatever it's called.
well, I heard they
Yeah.
weren't going to do any more of the Black Label books. Are they going to?
Yeah,
Did that change?
Well, they had like 4 of them planned out. I assumed they were written already, but
No, they
maybe
they decided to give it the axe because of all the controversy that happened with Batman.
Pussies.
Good lord, that's kind of ridiculous.
Ay.
Yeah, that was the most popular thing that happened to them for a long time too. And then they're going to just like shun it.
Yeah, like jeez.
Oh no. Talks amongst yourself. Apparently, Wizards didn't work.
Because that Black Label is basically supposed to be like Marvel's like Max, right?
Yeah, supposed to be like rated R or worse. There's less
Yeah.
restrictions. It's out of continuity. You can do whatever you want.
Marvel Knight. Is it? Yeah, it was Max. That was like
Max,
the one.
yeah, Max was I think outside of the. Yeah.
It didn't follow the comic code.
Yeah. And I think it just wasn't in normal like continuity. It wasn't canon.
Oh, okay. So it was its own little universe
Yeah,
inside.
it was like almost all Punisher stories. I was about the only guy that really utilized that Max thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when I was thinking.
There's so many too.
So
Knights
other than comics, what else Sasquatch are you into?
Wither!
Oh, there he is.
Yo.
Mahalo.
That works. What up, peeps?
Hi.
What's going on,
Please
man?
carry on.
Oh,
Carry on. What's your question, Greggy?
Oh, I was going to ask about anything other than comics. What are you like super into, Sasquatch?
So hobby wise, like I am a fine artist. Like I do freelance art and graphic design in my off time. I had a conversation with Issues recently on one of his shows that this summer, or actually I've already started to write my own book. So I'm kind of getting into writing, and through that starting to draw a lot more. So that's become a really big hobby, which is all thanks to my my newfound love of comic books. And other than that, I like playing with my dogs, and that's basically it, man. It's
Walks on the beach, Italian food.
I was about to say long walks on the beach, holding hands.
Oh, man. So are you going to self-publish, or what are you going to do with your ideas?
I don't know. Like I got to write the thing first, and then figure it out. Like, I just have all these ideas. I mean, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time, even when I wasn't collecting. It just now like it's become more of a passion just because I'm so into it. But it's not easy, man. It's been confusing trying to figure out.
Well, I'm sure.
Because one of the things I wanted to ask you about that, because I watched that show and I knew something about you were doing your own book. Is it like with your process that you're doing it? Because me and my daughter are doing a comic. And the process that I use, I didn't know if it was normal, like that's how people did it, or if it was like I'm doing it totally wrong. But like I came up with the idea, and then I drew like really crappy panels without any words. And then like my daughter's drawing it, and so I take it to her, and I show her the idea of the panels, just kind of like how they're going to interact with each other, and then I tell her the story and let her draw it however she wants to. And then when she brings it back to me, then I insert like the word bubbles and all the little captions and all that stuff. Is that kind of the same way that you're doing it, or you have a totally different process?
Yeah, my process is totally different. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, there's so many different ways to go about it, especially if you're like really close to the person that's going to be drawing it for you. But like I even though like I'm starting to draw a lot more now, like my intention is not to be the artist for the book. So I'm writing everything out, and I came up with my own system for a script that I thought was like a good something that an artist could understand. But even now, like I'm gonna go out and buy a book for like how to properly format it, just in case. You know, something that's industry standard, so you know I don't look like a chump when I'm sending it to somebody.
See, that's kind of one of the things that I was concerned about. Was I knew like there's people that do this for a living, and I'm sure that everybody has kind of like streamlined the process to where I didn't know if the way we were doing it was even close, or if someone would be like you said, like we would turn it in, they'd be like, "Dude, what are you doing here? You're killing me."
Yeah, it's just like in Hollywood, like there's a very specific way to format a script.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with comics, but slightly different because you're having somebody draw it out, and so. But again, it varies too, because like if you're really close to the artist that's drawing your story, then you can do things like what you're doing, or you can be less descriptive than than you would have to be with somebody that doesn't know you as well. So.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, because that's one of the good things. I just tell her what the story is, and she comes like she has her own characters that she draws. Like the character in my head is not what she put on paper, but I like what she put on paper, more than what's in my head. So it's kind of like, okay, you keep doing you, and I'm gonna tell you what little things have to be changed about it in order for it to work in the story. Like if it's about a dog in like the zombie apocalypse area. And so, like, if there's something where she draws it that wouldn't work with the story, I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you got to make the dog, instead of making it a beagle, you got to make it into like a Rottweiler, that kind of thing. Because there's going to be scenes where you're going to be tearing shit apart, and a beagle's just not going to be able to tear a person apart.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that, But yeah, I was just kind of curious on like your process that you had used. If you like actually write a script word for word, like where what they're gonna say the characters, or if it's kind of like a fluid thing where it just kind of happens.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to do it too. So like my process is it's weird because most of the time I get these ideas like right when I'm going to bed. And so I'll type out all the notes like as I'm getting ready to go to sleep on my phone. And then when I have time, I'll sit down at the computer and I'll kind of transfer everything over and then kind of flesh it out. And I've got a lot of like different versions of the story that I want to write, just where I've kept starting over and over and over because I just don't know like what the best way to introduce all these new characters is. And then in this one story, like I got all the way up to the point where there was like an action scene, and I was like, "Oh man, how do you write an action scene? I have no idea how to do that." So, yeah. It's definitely a learning process. So, I mean, it would be really cool if I had an artist. I think of like the whole like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby situation where you just tell them like, all right, and like you could act it out and like show them the facial expressions that you're looking for.
That's exactly how we do it too. Like that's how I translate things to her that I can't just explain. Like I'll be like, okay, then he's gonna be like this, and then the dog's gonna be all like this, and then,
that's pretty cool, man.
But that's where
you have to have a lot of trust in that kind of a team. You have to kind of know each other's vibe to get that to work right, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Wizard, did you mute your microphone?
I did for a second, yeah.
Okay, because I was sitting here struggling trying to figure out how I muted you, and I didn't know how to ask you. I was like, how did I mute him?
It's probably a smart thing.
I was like, did I mute him? How did I mute him? How do I unmute him? So I just like froze here, like looking at all the buttons trying to figure out how you unmute him. I was like, I muted him. I don't know how I did it. I didn't touch anything. Oh, well, there you go.
Good. It's all good.
Professionalism.
But Squatch, one late night on this chat on the book club, we came up with some crazy comic book idea. I don't know how many of you guys were in there that night. And it just exploded. Like everybody started throwing all this stuff into this comic book idea. And it was so, it was writing itself after a while. It was so good.
Nice.
So, yeah, we should talk about that at some point to see what you think about it. But it was
it a legitimate conversation? Because I don't remember. I know we have a
fairly
lot of
legit. It was so it was about a doctor who runs away from the mob to this small town, kind of history of violence kind of thing, and then the mob tries to come after him, and it was a very cool way, it kind of organically kind of fell together, and it was just at the end of it, we're all like, oh, we got to get this damn thing made, man. So I can't remember who was in it. It was one of those, of course, way too late at night. No one should have been even up kind of conversations, but
yeah, because I mean, I've had like personal, if issues was involved, I had personal conversation issues, and we're like going deep, and out of nowhere he'll take a right turn next to Albuquerque or something, and I'm like, what? Why did? It's like he's like one of those guys that as soon as you're getting too deep, he just like he'll do a fart joke or something just to throw it off. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Issues was definitely involved in it. Yeah,
well, there you go.
So, but the dude, several times he's come up with kind of these writing ideas. I'm like, man, his brain works different. Not always a good way, but
I've heard that we're going to start our own brewery too, and we're going to have beers based on all the members.
I think we were moving to Montana, and everyone would live in a commune and have their own brewery. That was another one of his. I don't know. I think he had a fever at that time. So.
No, he still talks about it, because I said something the other day about me and the wife having a very small argument. Like, it was very tiny. I was like, oh, I'm annoyed. She said something. He's like, you don't worry about it. We're all moving to Montana. Just leave it there. I'm like, all right. Thanks for the advice there, bud.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good idea. Yeah, because your boys, we were talking about your boys being like Island something. His brew would be Island Breeze or something stupid. I don't know. It was funny.
I remember something about the Reno. What was it? Reno Mash or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Andrew had his own. It was. I don't know. I think it was something with an umbrella in it. I'm not sure.
Oh, shocking! Something with an umbrella. Probably a pink umbrella.
Oh,
yeah, we need to do another auction again. When are we going to do another auction?
Why? What? You weren't very thrilled with the last auction, if I remember correctly.
I still got a bunch of stuff to get rid of, though.
I know. I felt bad today because I sold my my full run of Hulk, and I put it in there. And then my very next comment was, "I'm so sorry, Barbarian."
Yeah, I mean, hey, shit, I made money on it. I made money on that whole thing. I just didn't make as much as I wanted to. But I mean, I more than doubled my money on everything as far as how much it cost me. So I'm not like totally mad. I would have been happier to make like an extra $100 on that whole run. But yeah, everything else sold all right.
What was it?
Craig, are you seeing this message from Tank?
What's up? No.
Tank is trying to get in the video.
Oh, sweet. Send me your. Message me your email thing. I'll send it.
I think he's on the group chat trying to ask.
Oh, okay, cool. Talk amongst yourself.
He's still in the hospital, is he?
That'd be sweet.
Live.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, that'd be great. The charity auction I thought went incredibly well.
Oh, the charity auction was
amazing. A lot of you guys were in that. Yeah,
for real. I was kind of bummed I didn't have any money left. I'm not going to say anymore. I spent too much money earlier that day that I didn't plan on spending. It was supposed to go to that auction, but I ended up accidentally buying something in a different auction. It was legit. Like, I didn't want to buy it, but I ended up buying it. Sometimes that happens.
That's some pretty good stuff, man.
I had a very small budget, and everything, like, boom, would always go right over me. And I'm like, every time, like, I bid and I'm like, please let this go cheap. Never.
No, everything went above.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Barbarian's always saying this. He doesn't have any money or he doesn't know where it goes. But I keep crazy hours, and there's sometimes like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I find this random, nobody knows auction going on in like some place, and on the bottom I see, okay, I guess the winning bid's gonna go to Barbarian Kung Fu. I'm like, Jesus, he's everywhere. He's like in every auction.
You ever watch those storage hunter shows where they go to the storage lockers and all that? Yeah. And you got that dude that's just sitting there running people up? I love it.
Yeah. Is that you?
Yeah, pretty much.
I stuck with it sometimes.
Sometimes I get caught and I end up having to buy it myself. But sometimes, I'm always happy with what I get. But Yeah, sometimes I bid on stuff just to just to bid on it.
That's hilarious. I did that a few times with the charity thing just to see, but it
Yo,
always
yeah,
went
it was
way
fun.
beyond that.
I was definitely
Yeah.
I didn't need to. Once I realized I didn't need to help people get
No.
more money out of it, then
No.
I stopped. I was like, $15, please. I want to win.
Yeah.
I ended up just
Craig,
like,
did you get that? Did you get Tank's email?
I did. Well, I sent him a message. Hopefully he got it. Hopefully he'll join us in a second.
All right.
I mean, I sent
I
him
ended up just sending
invite.
Michael the money and telling him to do an impression of Rocky so that I could give him the money.
Oh, here he is.
Where is? Yeah, he's not showing. He's not showing his picture, so I'm still going with hospital bed right now.
Relax.
Relax.
Hey, TJ, you're gonna give the man a heart attack.
Hold up.
You're not gonna show your nipples, are you?
That's Andrew's deal. Don't
That's
steal
Sasquatch
Andrew's.
doesn't even understand the oddity of this random all hours of the night getting Andrew nipple, and there's no explanation. It's just there.
It just happens.
I mean, I think you guys are underestimating my real life, and none of this seems abnormal to me.
His life is full of nipples. Yeah.
I know he's like asking me, oh, you know, I hope everything's all right. I'm like, dude, I'm embarrassed for us. I'm hoping we're not running you off. Like, it's not, oh, man, like this group is it's weird. We're a weird little group.
What are we talking about?
Nipples.
There he is.
Oh, cool. I got 2 of those.
That's good.
You feeling all right, bro?
You guys were talking about the character in the late night chat, Wiz, that we're yeah. I'm actually working on art for that right now.
Are you serious?
Are you serious? That's awesome.
Yeah,
But dude, don't you remember how crazy that was?
Matt, it worked out perfectly. If I'm not mistaken, I think I screenshotted that conversation.
Oh, you kidding?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I got to double check. But yeah, man, it just kind of flowed. It was dope.
It was really crazy.
And then we have the other one that me and Andrew are working on. I got to get on the concept of that too.
Okay.
Yikes.
You're a busy man, but you're a talented man, so I'm sure you can pull it off.
Yeah, the only problem is if I could take like my art and stuff and do it in the hospital, I'd get a lot more done.
Right?
Nurse, could you unhook this? I got to draw.
The weird thing is how we're all like randomly know each other, but yet everybody has, it seems like, at least somewhat ability to draw. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird little group.
Well, I think because of the comic book thing, we all grew up probably trying to draw comic books.
Yeah.
And probably, some people got a lot better at it than others did. So.
I tried to find this little book that I did when I was a kid, and I was like, I know I invented my own comic book character, and I remember it being sweet. And so I was digging through stuff, and I finally found it. It's Venom with a metal mohawk. That's what it is. I totally just cover swiped a Venom book and had a metal mohawk on him. That's my amazing character I created.
I actually need to get some art out to Sasquatch that I talked to him about for his stuff. So,
Yeah, man, it's been forever.
yeah, I know. Well, I've been fucking in and out of ERs. So,
I don't want to hear your excuses, Tank. You get your ass out of that bed and you start drawing some art.
yeah, it's kind of hard when like drawing's not the only thing you do, but also like drawing and trying not to die on a daily basis.
But trying not to die is usually about 50% of the day, right?
Exactly. I got to split up my time evenly, man.
Yeah, you need a calendar, a good calendar app for that.
Yeah, I feel bad because that our chat it streams so fast. So sometimes I don't bother going back. And somebody showed a picture of one of Tank's drawing or something, and I started going off, giving him a hard time. But no, it was because my chat was backed up. So it showed a video from like 5 weeks ago of him drawing this amazing art. So I started bitching that I don't have any art. And as I finally look up and read, everybody's asking him if he's okay. Did he die? And I'm like, I just spent 10 minutes bitching that he hasn't made any art. And I was like, wow, I'm not a good person.
I remember that. I was like, yeah, guys, like I'm having a tough time. I don't know if like I got to take a little break from everything, kind of step back for a little and gather myself. And then all of a sudden, Mr. G is over here fucking killing me. Like, hey, bro, where's my Batman Who Laughs, man?
This is ruthless.
Nobody stopped me. Somebody could have sent me a message like, "Shut up, read the freaking chat." I'm just
like,
going
it's
on.
not like-
Nobody's stopping me. I'm just like, man, this is ridiculous.
And it's not like issues made it better because like right before that, maybe like 2 weeks before that, I'd finished.
You
the
give
Batman
out the
last
fucking arm.
for your boy, and then as soon as you started complaining, issues like, "Yo, I think he sent yours to your boy because you haven't been in the chat for a while."
It's ruthless.
You guys want to see?
Like 5 different things.
You guys want to see some art?
Absolutely. Let me put
I don't know if you guys
on
can
there.
see this. I made this for issues.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh yeah, he showed us a picture of
So
that.
dope.
Yeah, that is super cool. Is that an etching?
Yeah, so it's this thing called Scratchboard that I'm an art teacher, and so I have a bunch of it for my students, and it's really fun because instead of drawing like, with graphite on a white sheet of paper, you kind of draw in the reverse.
Yeah.
So it starts off black. It's like the way I describe it to my students, it's like a giant scratch off ticket because it has this, like, coating of black. I don't know if it's latex or paint or something, and then you scratch it away, and then it reveals like this silver color underneath. It's pretty cool.
So is that translucent where you can hold it up to a light and it glows through it?
No, it doesn't. So it's
Yeah.
reflective. So like if you were to see it in person, like it actually it has like a silvery sort of color to it.
It's kind of rigid. It's not like flexible.
Well, no, it's the paper. So it's rigid right now because it's in a frame, but
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
it's just like a regular sheet of paper. It's
Okay.
maybe like a thick piece of cardstock.
Yeah, because I saw somebody had done. I forget what it was. I just seen it where they did a comic where the cover of it was like that, but it was like it glowed through. It was almost like they were holding it up to a light, and you could see like it looked like a sun glowing.
Oh, that's cool.
No, I think I remember seeing that, Barbarian. I remember seeing that on Instagram where somebody had mentioned it was a scratch board, and everybody kind of freaked out because it looked so intricate.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was though. Probably.
So what do you scrape it away with? Like a razor kind of a tool, or like what do you?
Yeah,
You can do it with a toothpick.
Yeah, you can use all kinds of stuff. You can use like an X-Acto blade or a razor blade. I've got it's called a nib, so it's like those old-fashioned pens that you dip in ink. So it's got a really sharp tip on it. So I use that. That's what I use for this one. But I've used a nail before. I've used screwdriver, like all kinds of whatever has a sharp edge on it. I've used my fingernail before.
Yeah.
I hope he wasn't giving the kids razor blades in his art class. I mean, I don't know what year
Texas.
he
Dude, it's
teaches.
Texas. They do stuff like that. Switchblades.
Hey, give him a blade. Let him scratch the paper. No, fuck that. Give him a 12 gauge. Let him blast the black off.
I guarantee you, somewhere in this state right now, somebody's making art with a 12 gauge.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
I'm guessing Tennessee, Northern Alabama. So.
Or where Peter Parker's at right now.
Somewhere in his house.
It looks like he's hunting ghosts again.
Looking for the 12 gauge.
He was like, I gotta charge my phone. I was like, yeah, we know. He cannot sit still. He's got to be moving. He's got things to do. He's got a shop to stock.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I'm on 1%, so I actually have to go hook my phone up. So I'll try to join back in.
Word.
All right, sir.
See you.
So you guys want to see my mail call today?
Let's do it.
Oh yeah. You're gonna show us stuff. Let me put it back on you.
So I'm pretty excited about this. I got a really decent. Again, like I'm really I'm kind of coming into this, and I'm behind everybody else. So like when this was popular, it probably was expensive, and now that I'm into it, like nobody cares about it anymore. So I can get it for pretty cheap. So,
Dude, we should make a Sasquatch top 10 and just like hop on it and make it blow up like CBSI.
Oh yeah. All these books from like 2002.
Yeah.
So I got this.
Oh, I really like that.
Oh man.
So this is like the red foil version. So I guess there's like a limited. You can kind of see it's reflective.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got this. Like I already have like 2 copies of this one, and I bought this one because it's the red foil, and I really love this book. This is actually like one of my top favorite books of all time.
I've never read that. I hear it's really cool.
Yeah, I've been wanting to buy that one.
Yeah, and I heard the guy that did all the interiors is like a tattoo artist too, right?
Yeah, he's a tattoo artist in Austin, which is right up the road from me.
Okay. Yeah.
So the guy who sold it to me was like, "Hey man, do you want a signed version or an unsigned version?" And I was like, "Well, send me both." And so this one has.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, whatever, man. Well, I have one when you can have 2.
So that's my 4th copy.
Or 4th in this case, yes, 4th.
This is the only signature.
I wonder if Necro's read that.
I think I know he knows who the artist is because I think he's the one that mentioned that it was a tattoo artist.
And so I got this too. It's like a little envelope.
Okay.
Is it from Colombia?
It's interesting that these both came in at the same time because that wasn't my intention, but
Is it a tiny tomahawk?
Oh, what is that?
it is.
Oh, that's so cool.
What is that?
Oh my god, that's awesome.
So it's this little tomahawk lapel pin.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
right on. I love those things. I got a backpack that's covered with pins. I'm a nerd. I know it. I wear it to the conference.
Yeah, Barbarian sent me books, and there was like a little baggie of pins in there.
Yeah, all those pins that I sent out to everybody, all those pins came from that dude's collection where I went and that guy, he was 89 years old, and when he passed away, his kids didn't know what to do with his collection. They gave me a box. It was like a Tupperware box. It was just full of pins.
Really? Really? You mean all those stuff you sent to everybody? Everybody? Is that what you mean?
The people that I
All
sent,
of us.
yeah, they were the people that were in the chat at that time.
I see.
This one is so dope. I'm gonna start putting it on my suits every time I have to wear a suit.
There should be 2 of them, right? That you can wear them
Yeah,
like
there's 2. There's 2.
Yeah, you wear them like cufflinks.
But you can't beat this one, man.
Yeah, everybody got a cowboy.
So sick.
You guys,
Not everybody. Don't worry about
Your packaging, Mr. Gorell, so you just got to be patient, okay? I got to send you.
it. That's a lot of pins.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm trying to get. Okay, there we go. Okay, I got it on you. Let's see.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, how did you get all those pins from?
so I used to design pins and sell them through my Instagram page, and this is like all the stuff that I collected during that time. Some of these I bought, a lot of them I traded with other pin makers.
Yeah, those are awesome, man.
Really
Those
cool.
are real cool.
All kinds of like sci-fi and pop
Yeah,
culture.
yeah. Robots and all that. Is that
Speaking
Hulk Hogan in the center?
What was that?
Is that tiny one Hulk Hogan in the center?
That's Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, the Macho Man.
I was telling Itchies, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Now I want a Slim Jim.
I was telling Issues I want to design a pin for the club. I think that would be cool.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
that'd be dope.
Gotta be after patches, though, dude. Patches, then pins. It's
No,
just a natural progression.
no,
What?
no.
I think that same lady that I was talking about doing shirts, I think she can do patches. I need to find out. Apparently she's really busy, and so like her husband, I work with him, and he's very procrastinator. Like I'll tell him, and he'll wait like a month before he asks her. And so I was like, "Hey, just give me your wife's phone number, man." And
Yeah, that's not creepy. Give me your wife's
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I just say, look, give me your wife's phone number. We'll do it on the side.
Yeah.
You don't need to be involved.
Yeah, I'll do a little side business with her.
You can be involved. You can watch.
Hey, Barbarian,
But
I've tattooed on her before, and I told her, "Hey, I'll give you some free tattoos if you do some shirts for me and stuff." And I haven't heard back yet.
hey, Kung Fu, are we still doing
We'll start with
cardigan cuts?
Are we still doing what?
Cardigan sweater cuts?
Man, if we can get them, yeah. Thick knit. The thick knit with the big butterfly collar. We're gonna get the top rocker, the symbiotes, and then Original.
I have a feeling I have bitched about not getting stickers and magnets and pins. I have a feeling that I'm gonna get a patch before I get anything, just because I've specifically said I do not want a patch.
A really tight tank top, I think, is where we should start. Just a really, really fitted tank top, and then just move from there.
When I first
everybody order one that's 2 sizes too small.
Yeah, just go to a con, just rocking those. Everybody's walking around with those.
When I first started my skateboard company back in the day, I made a bunch of wife beater shirts. And I cut out a stencil on some grip tape and stuck it on there and spray painted on them. They were the most ghetto things ever. But people would I'd throw them out at demos and people would fight for them. It was so funny.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Let me tell you something. If we ever do meet a con and I walk in and you guys are even jokingly wearing some kind of patches on a wife beater or anything, I will put my head down and go to the other side of the con.
Hey, hold on, bro. What do you mean, you guys? You're part of the you guys. If we're rocking it, you're rocking it too.
Yeah. All for one, one for all. That's true.
Say it like you have a choice.
C2E2 2020. Tank tops. Tank top brigade.
No, look, Sasquatch was supposed to bring the power back into Texas, and every time I try to mention that, Issues literally yells me down over a chat to shut up. That there is no power. We need to get it back all the way to Chicago.
Yeah.
Texas is closer than Chicago to me too. But
I want some symbiote kimonos, man.
Oh shit!
I'll take that. That could be all right.
Oh, that'd be silky. I like it.
Big bedazzled trucker hats.
From everybody's live streams and stuff, it looks like we're gonna have to do some symbiote beard oil soon. Everybody's growing their shit out.
Oh yeah, true.
We could do for the Texas boys. We could do like a symbiote, like a pearl snap. That'd be pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, I could take that. That'd be awesome. I'd take that. I'd wear that. But you gotta have the patch going across the shoulder, like when you always see the youth ministers in Texas. They always got a little soul patch, and they have some kind of some stuff going around here. Youth ministers are big in Texas, boys. They're big.
They're big.
A bolo tie with Carnage's face.
Oh yeah.
On a ruby.
Oh, I got it, man. No, we gotta do like a giant belt buckle.
Oh,
that'd be
symbiote
dope.
belt buckle.
See, that's for real awesome though. That's not joking. I'd rock a big. But we have we have the Australian in the chat that we had to come up with something for him. He had that with something special.
Oh,
something really annoying. Like those really tight cargo shorts that the crocodile hunter wore or something. We need to have him some of those.
We could get some symbiote flavored Vegemite.
Oh, I know what I'm drawing Kachung next, dude. I'm drawing Steve Irwin as a symbiote.
Oh.
With his crikey across it.
That would be dope.
You get his fist all the way up the crocodile's butt. I'll put my finger up there. That'll piss it off.
That's awesome.
Hey, you know what happened to me today? So I left a hospital, right? And I was like, all right, man, I got everything checked out. There's not much else I can do. I had books in my car that I need to ship out. So I went to the post office, and John had some comics with me that I need to send to him, and Parker had some. So I sent them their books, and there was this old bearded man, dude, beard longer than barbarians, man. He was working the post office. It looked like he's lived and he's gonna die there pretty soon. So he looks at me, and he I have these stickers that I put on the package boxes, and it has my account and then the club account underneath it. And so I put them on the boxes, and he just knew it was Swamp Thing. He goes, Swamp Thing, huh? And I was like, oh, you're a comics guy? And he goes, yeah, but I think it's about that time, man. He was like, I'm getting really old. He was all white, man, Gandalf the White, really, really fucking old. And he was like, I think it's about time I let go of these books. He was like, do you appraise? And I was like, I can. I was like, but I'd rather buy them. And he goes, all right, man. And he printed out a receipt, and he was like, flip it on the back and put all your information. So he's going to send me he was like, send me your address. I'll just send you some. And if it's something you like, then I'll swing on by and take a look at everything. So, and he's an old dude, so I'm hoping to find some real gold in there.
Yeah, for sure. That's the best.
Real cool.
He's super, like, man, I was looking at this guy and I was like, how do you even have the breath to have this conversation?
He's being nice to you, and in your head, you're like, this guy's so old. Like, how are you even walking around with the rest of us? And he's like being nice.
Like, why are you working still? Like it's a government job. Don't they take care of you? Like, just go home.
Meanwhile, you're the guy that just walked out of the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. I still had the ID band, and like I still had gauze taped to where they put the IV on me.
He's like, "Oh man, take care of yourself." Hold on, let me rip off my hospital ID real quick.
It'll probably just be a whole bunch of Hot 10 books.
Can I take a hit of your oxygen back there before I leave? Yeah, imagine I go. It's like all like it's all CBSI top 10 modern books.
Or a bunch of graded PGX books. Jackpot.
No, it's gonna be like Looney Tune books or something. That's what it's gonna be. He's an older guy.
All to rock.
You like this gold foil Turok.
That's cool.
Hey man, I'm down for those Looney Tunes ones.
I went to a yard sale one time, and on the advertisement for it, it said old comics. So I'm thinking, okay, cool, like some 90s comics. I show up, and there's like 6 short boxes full of late 60s, early 70s, like Key and King, Looney Tunes, Popeye, all these just like the funny books is what I call them.
Yeah.
Boxes of them. And she's like, they're $2 each. I was like, well, that's not a big price. What do you want for all of them? She's like, are you going to make me count all of them so I can tell you how much it is? And I was just like, no, just like throw a number out. And she's like, well, there's got to be at least 200, so give me $400 for them. It's like, I'm thinking more like $50, lady. I only bought a handful of them, but they were good. They were all in really great shape. Her husband ran out on her, so she kept his comics, and I seem to run into that a lot.
What up?
Hey, you know who actually runs into that? Is Jeffrey Comic-Con. He does. Yeah. He works at a place like kind of like 100 Get Junk, I guess is kind of what it is. And he was throwing stuff away, and there was those high-end like RC cars that have like gas, they're like gas powered and stuff. Yeah. There was a whole bunch of those that were just sitting there, and he asked her about it, and she made some kind of comment about like the piece of crap owned those or something. And so, do you mind if I just keep them? She's like, do whatever you want to with them. So I guess he kind of runs into that stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just won a Flash 138 off eBay. I just got a notification. I didn't even know it was bidding.
What are you bidding on?
Flash 138. I just I go on eBay late at night when I'm bored. Yeah. And I just type in like the Flash comic books, and then I go to ending soonest, and I just like put like whatever max bid. So there's like and I end up winning these books for like $2 because they're like deep in fucking eBay that nobody wants.
Yeah.
All right, so we can have a confession real quick because Ishi's not in here and he doesn't watch my my videos anyway. So one night I was super late. I guess I woke up one morning and I had notification from eBay saying you bought some kind of book. I don't remember what it was, and I'm like, when did I buy this book? I don't even know what that is. I'm so confused, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm going through like YouTube the next day, and I noticed that Jim's comic, Uncle Jim, at like 2:00 in the morning, he did some kind of like emergency spec thing, and apparently I woke up at 2:00 in the morning, got a notification, watched it, went on eBay and bought it, and have no memory of the entire thing happened.
You on Ambien?
No, I was just asleep. I was on nothing. I was just on jackass mode. I have no idea what happened. I mean, luckily it was like a $5 book.
Click. Spec books are haunting his dreams, man.
I was like, that's dangerous. I was thinking about like, putting some kind of like, I don't know, code on my phone because like if I could do that, I don't even remember. I had no memory of it whatsoever. What else could I buy off eBay in the middle of the night?
He woke up from an acid trip and just started buying comic books.
All those Toroks. Just a big stack of Toroks show up the next day. What? I overnighted these? This is terrible.
Just 200 a stack.
I paid for overnight shipping for 200 Toroks.
So do you guys think we're ever going to go back to picking a book and actually reading it and discussing it, or those days? I
don't know. That was going pretty good for a minute, but
it was Hulk Nuts, I believe, that burnt that house to the ground, if I remember with his.
Yeah, he
We
suggested.
got the Red Sun and we never did it.
What did he suggest? The war?
Yeah,
Hulk.
it was
my
bad.
God.
It wasn't a
What
good suggestion.
Pile of garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't a good suggestion. Because we did the Carnage USA that was really good. So I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. And then that that wasn't good.
And
I'm so glad I didn't buy that.
I suggested Red Sun, but by that time I think everyone was just over it because we were so tainted from the Hulk War book.
Yeah, I went out and bought the trade for Red Sun too, and I still didn't read it because nobody was doing the thing anymore. I was like, I don't care about Superman enough to do it.
I'm not a huge Superman person at all.
Yeah.
But Red Sun is one of the only like Superman stories that I really, really enjoy reading.
Really? Okay. Well, maybe one day. I got a whole shelf full of trade paperbacks that I'll probably never read.
Hey, Count Von Strange the Fourth. Yeah, no, that Red Sun. I think I read the second one. Then I went to the chat and said, "Hey, are we reading this?" And literally, no one responded to me. So I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna read it anymore until somebody starts saying we're gonna read it because I'll just reread it again if we ever do it again." But I liked it. I liked the Red Sun.
Isn't that the basis of why this club was formed, was to talk about comic books?
Absolutely. That's what I was told in the message I got was we're going to pick books and read.
I thought it was just a bitch about Rob Liefeld and people.
Hey, why you gotta be a hater, dude?
Say hi, buddy.
Hey, I cannot find that. What is it? Captain X? Is that? I can never. Major X. I cannot find that Major X anywhere. I was gonna have it just sitting here, like this, sitting like this the whole time. But I don't know what I did with it.
Why'd you buy it?
I didn't. That was the funny part. Was the whole thing was supposed to give Issues a hard time. I went to the comic book store. And the guy goes, "Oh, we haven't seen you in a while." And I was like, "Yeah, sorry, because your short's kind of garbage." So he kind of smiled and put it in the bag, right? And I was like, "Oh, well, thanks." And I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, that's that Liefeld book. This is what he thinks he's going to get me back. This is how he thinks he's winning me back to a store." So I was like, I even texted Kachung and I was like, "Watch, I'm going to try to screw with Issues and I'm going to see how great it is." He never bit. Issue just kept ignoring me and going on to the next thing. I was like, for 2 days, I went on about how amazing this freaking book was, and he never said anything back to me.
That's hilarious.
I will never spend a dime on a Liefeld book.
No, my LCS had a stack of them. It's just still sitting there.
I mean, I know Squatch, me and him got into it like I think on Issues comments. Yeah, he's not a huge Liefeld fan either. I think most people that know at least a little bit of art aren't big Liefeld.
It's insulting.
Yeah. I even try to be funny. Like if you look at it, he's going to be the greatest character ever because his body. It gets bigger and smaller. His arms are like 3 times big in one moment.
Well, he's the only person in comics that has 16 abs.
The 16 pack, yeah.
I got a 16 pack, bro.
Long, flat, wide, piece that comes up. It just looks so weird. It looks like a hand that's grabbing him from underneath, from behind.
It's literally if you look at it, it's like abs. And then junk. There's no gap. It's just abs and junk. Right afterwards. And
it looks like he's got udders down there. Is what it looks like.
The good thing is he's wearing a costume, right? This Major X guy.
I guess.
So that means he doesn't need to draw feet. That's probably why he did this.
I mean, I don't have as much a problem with the feet, the way he draws feet, as I do the upper lips. When he draws characters, they always have this
Yeah.
It's like this tiny little sliver of skin underneath the nose. And I swear, I was telling somebody the other day, I think it's because he's scared he'll have to draw a mustache someday. So he just cuts the lip on all together. No lip, no mustaches, no problem.
Yeah,
I can never do
we need this character to have a mustache. I don't do that.
No.
He can never do a Craven. He's just
never do Doctor Strange. No,
yeah.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, no, I can't draw an upper lip, so no facial hair for me, sir.
Peter Parker,
guys that don't draw,
I'm not going to allow such comments from you, sir.
I don't get.
Parker try to put some foulness into the chat. I'm not allowing it. You're not going to talk about me, Drex, that way.
Okay, on that note, the missus is calling for me. Dinner's ready, so I'm gonna go eat.
Yeah.
Peace out, man.
All right, guys. It was nice talking to you.
See you there, Tink.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got to get going too because it's getting late.
I was about to say we got on for like 2 hours, so we can probably. Well, Sasquatch, thanks for joining the Symbiote Club.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. So, I mean, what has it been like 2 days? I don't know.
It probably
It feels like a lifetime, Princess. It feels like a
12 hours worth of chat.
It does feel like a lifetime, man. I've read more in the chat than I've read comic book, man.
The best comment was this. What was it last night or this morning when he's like, "Do you guys ever sleep or does the chat ever go to bed?"
It literally goes on sometimes like 24/7. Like I wake up at 5:30 in the morning every day, and there's people still chatting from the night before.
It's friggin' your boys, man. He'll be on there forever. Oh, Parker's just now jumping back in too.
Your boys he just like he'll have conversations with himself if you notice it early enough.
No, he's
He has
talking to
those
the
chickens. Yeah, he has those chickens, man. He has to get them chickens.
That's who he's talking to at 2:00 in the morning our time.
Yeah.
Well, all right, gentlemen. Thanks for joining this. We're popping the cherry of Sasquatch on the chat thing here.
Oh,
And,
Good job tonight, Craig. So
it was awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining us, and we'll see you next Monday.
Parker just got enough juice on his phone, and now we're bouncing.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
See you guys in the regular chat, I guess.
Later, man.
Later.